Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Espero que estén bien. My name is Kamlesh Dave. Welcome to my YouTube channel Salud Spanish for All. Friends, in this video, we will learn very important topic. The prepositions para and por. These two prepositions are very common and frequently used in day-to-day conversation, right? But still we find it difficult to use the proper preposition, whether to use para or por. In this video, friends, I will explain all the uses of por and para with the help of examples. So are you all ready? Okay, let's start. First, we will discuss all the uses of por and then we will discuss all the uses of para. Now let us start with por. The first use of por to describe time duration. Whether the duration is in seconds, minutes, hours, days, week, months or years, to describe time duration, we will use the preposition por. See the examples. For 40 seconds, for 15 minutes, por 40 segundos, por 15 minutos. For 2 hours or for 5 days, por 2 horas, por 5 días. For a week, for 6 months. Por una semana, por 6 meses. For 10 years or for a while. Por 10 años, for a while is por un rato. Clear? So you can notice the time is given in the seconds, minutes, hour, days, week, months, year. So for all this time duration, we will use the preposition por. Clear the first use? Now let's continue with the next use. Whenever we find verb after for, in English language we add ing. So in English always for plus verb ing. In that case, in Spanish, we have to use the preposition por. And after por, we have to use the infinitive verb, not the ing form. Thank you for coming. So coming is an ing form. Gracias por venir. In Spanish, venir is an infinitive verb. So here also you can notice por venir. The preposition por is used. Thank you for inviting me. Gracias por invitarme. Here also in English, inviting the ing form, while in Spanish, invitar is an infinitive verb. So whenever you find for plus verb ing, in Spanish we will use por plus infinitive verb. The next use, to indicate the cause or the reason for an action. Let's check this use with the help of example. There is no class for the rain. So why there is no class? Because of the rain, due to the rain, for the rain. No hay clase por la lluvia. Lluvia means rain. So here also we have to use the preposition por. Another example, our office is closed for the strike. So why our office is closed? What is the reason? Due to strike, because of the strike. In the earlier sentence also, why there is no class? Due to rain, because of the rain. So we are describing the cause or the reason for the action. Nuestra oficina está cerrada por huelga. Huelga means strike. So here also in these two prepositions we have to use por. Clear? Two more uses of por. There are some more uses, friends, for por. Next use, for the exchange of currency, things and wishes. Whenever we are exchanging currency, things and we are exchanging wishes, we will use the preposition por. First example, I will exchange these dollars for euros. So here is the exchange of currency, dollars and euros. Cambiaré estos dólares por euros. Next example, I want to change the shirt for that t-shirt. So here the exchange of shirt and t-shirt, right? Exchanging things. Quiero cambiar esta camisa por esa camiseta. Thanks for your help. So here we are thanking someone for his help, right? So someone is wishing us, right? So in the exchange of her wishes or her help, we say thanks. Gracias por tu ayuda. Here also we have to use por. Thanks for your beautiful wishes. So here someone is already given us beautiful wishes, and in exchange we thank them. So in English we say thanks for your beautiful wishes or thank you for your beautiful wishes. In Spanish we say gracias por tus bonitos deseos. Clearly used to exchange currency, things and wishes, we will use the preposition por. Okay, next uses. Again the uses of por with the parts of the day. Por la mañana or por la tarde means in the morning or in the evening. Por la noche means at night. So morning, evening, night are the parts of the day. We will use por. Por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche. One more use to indicate price and proportional quantity. First example for this use, te vendo mi portátil por 500 euros. I am selling you my laptop for 500 euros. So see, here I am describing the price of my laptop. At what price I am selling to you? For 500 euros. So here I am indicating the price of my laptop. So it would be por 500 euros. Another example, mi amigo conduce el coche a 100 kilómetros por hora. See the proportion. My friend drives the car 100 kilometers per hour. So here I am describing the speed per hour. Mi amigo conduce el coche a 100 kilómetros por hora. My friend drives the car 100 kilometers per hour. One more example. Ellos cobran 20 euros por persona. They charge 20 euros per person. So here what is the proportional quantity? 20 euros per person. Ellos cobran 20 euros por persona. Clear friends, these are the uses, all the uses of the preposition por. Now we will learn the uses of para. The first use of para, to give opinion. To give one's opinion, we have to use the preposition para. The first example, in my opinion, that girl is very clever. Para mí, esa chica es muy lista. So see here in the beginning of the sentence, you can find the preposition para. Para mí. Literally for me, but it is the opinion. In my opinion, that girl is very clever. Para mí, esa chica es muy lista. In my sister's opinion, this coffee is hot. So as per my sister's view, in my sister's opinion, this coffee is hot. Para mi hermana, este café está caliente. Caliente means hot. So here also the sentence starts with para mi hermana. As per my sister's view or in my sister's opinion, este café está caliente. This coffee is hot. Clear the first use, to give opinion. We will always use the preposition in the beginning of the sentence to give opinion. Para mi hermano. Now the next use, to indicate that someone is the recipient of something. To indicate that someone is the recipient of something. Let's check with example. This book is for my cousin. So this book is for whom? For my cousin. So my cousin is the recipient of that book, right? So this book is for whom? For my cousin. Este libro es para mi primo. Primo means cousin. So here we have to use para. Next example. This gift is for you. Este regalo es para ti. So who is the recipient of this gift? You. It is for you. So para ti. My friend has bought this watch for me. So my friend has bought a one watch for someone. And who is the recipient of that watch? Me, myself. That is for me. Mi amigo ha comprado este reloj para mí. So here we will use para mí at the end of the sentence. While in the first use to give opinion, you can notice para mí is in the beginning of the sentence to give opinion. But when the subject is the recipient of something, you have to write the preposition at the end of the sentence. So here the last example, my friend has bought this watch for me. Mi amigo ha comprado este reloj para mí. For now, we have discussed two uses of para. There are some more uses. So let's continue. To indicate destination. We are leaving for Mumbai tomorrow. So here Mumbai is our destination. For which place we are leaving tomorrow? For Mumbai. Salimos para Mumbai mañana. So here we have to use para Mumbai. One more example. Luisa is leaving for office in 10 minutes. For which place Luisa is leaving in 10 minutes? For office. So office is the destination here. Luisa sale para la oficina en 10 minutos. Clear these two examples for this use to indicate destination. Okay, now the next use. Para plus infinitive verb. It is used to describe the purpose. In English, we also say in order to do some action. So the preposition para is added before the infinitive verb when to describe the purpose of that action. In English, it can be also translated as in order to do that particular action. These use, let's check with the help of examples. I go to garden to walk. Voy al jardín para caminar. So what is the purpose? Why I go to garden? My purpose is to walk. So you can also consider this sentence as I go to garden in order to walk. So walking is my purpose. So to describe purpose, I use the preposition para before the infinitive verb. So in Spanish sentence, you can notice it is para caminar. Caminar is an infinitive verb which means to walk. So before caminar, we have to add para. One more example. The students go to library in order to read. So see, why the students go to library? What is their purpose? Their purpose is to read. You can also say to read or in order to read. Los estudiantes van a la biblioteca para leer. So leer is an infinitive verb which means to read. Before leer, we have to add the preposition para. Clear these two uses to indicate the destination, and before the infinitive verb, we add the preposition para to describe the purpose. Okay. Now one more use of para. Let's continue. When an action is about to happen. In Spanish, the form it is estar plus para plus infinitive verb. Estar means depend on subject. You must remember the 6 forms of estar: estoy, estás, está, estamos, estáis, and están. So after the verb estar, we have to use para before the infinitive verb, which means an action is about to happen. Let's check this use with the help of examples. I am about to leave. Estoy para salir. I am is the first form of estar, which is estoy. Para salir. Salir is an infinitive verb, which means to leave or to go out. Next example. It is about to rain. Está para llover. Llover means to rain. And esta is the third form of the verb estar. So está para llover means it is about to rain. So whatever the action you are describing, that action is about to happen. For that you have to use the verb estar and then para and then the infinitive verb. Next example. The film is about to finish. La película está para terminar. The last example. We are about to have dinner. We are is the fourth form. Estamos para cenar. So you can notice estoy, está, and estamos are the forms of the verb estar. And the preposition para is used before the infinitive verbs. What are the infinitive verbs? In the first sentence, salir. In the second sentence, llover. In the third sentence, terminar. And in the last sentence, cenar, means to have dinner. Clear, friends? These are the uses of por and para. I hope you find this video very interesting and amazing. So please share this video with your friends. If you have any doubts, any query, you can write to me in the comment section. I will be glad to solve all your doubts. Subscribe my YouTube channel, share with your friends, and wait for more such amazing videos. Gracias. Thank you.